All right, so now let's check in on the NBA. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are 11-3, number one overall seed. The 76ers are the number two overall seed at 10-3. Although I believe the Sixers have beat the Celtics already. I think maybe a couple times. The Bucks are three seed, 10-4. The Miami Heat. See, last time we checked, the Miami Heat was down. They were like the 13th, 14th seed. And now look at them. They are now the fourth seed at 9-5. The Magic are the fifth seed at 8-5. The Pacers are the sixth seed at 7-5. The Knicks are the seventh seed at 8-6. The Cavaliers are the eighth seed with 7-6. The Hawks are ninth seed at 6-6. And the Nets are tied at the 10th seed for 6-7. With the playoffs going to start now, those will be the playoff teams, with the Pacers and Cavaliers and the Hawks and the Nets being the play-in teams. Outside looking in, the Raptors at 11 are 6-7 as well as the Nets, but I guess the Nets have the tiebreakers to be the 10th seed. The Bulls, my Bulls, are 5-10. It'll be time for a change there, but not a rebuild. It's a change. Just get some good stuff. The Hornets are 4-9, 13th seed. The Wizards are 2-11, and the Pistons are 2-13, which is kind of shocking because I thought the Pistons may be a little bit better. It might be, with all those young cats, but maybe this is just not going well for the Pistons right now. So now let's take a look at the Western Conference, and the surprising teams at the top. The Minnesota Timberwolves is at 10-3, number one overall seed. Wow, that's kind of shocking to me. So we'll see what's going on. I guess maybe Draymond Green woke him up. The Denver Nuggets are the second seed at 10-4, along with the Oklahoma City Thunder at 10-4, the third seed. The Mavericks are the fourth seed at 9-5. The Kings are the fifth seed at 8-5. The Lakers are the sixth seed at 8-6. The Suns are the seventh seed at 7-6. They haven't had Bradley Beal, but other than one game, he just has some back issues. The Houston Rockets, another surprise team, are the eighth seed at 6-6. Right? The Pelicans are 7-7, ninth seed, and the Warriors, speaking of Draymond Green, are the 10th seed at 7-8. So the playoffs started today. The Suns and the Rockets and the Pelicans and the Warriors, they would be the play-in teams. The Clippers, after getting James Harden, they've just been a mess, but they've won their last two games, so that has been a little bit of a stretch. Maybe they can come back up. They are 5-7. The Utah Jazz are 4-9. The Memphis Grizzlies are 3-10. Obviously, without John Morant, they've played well without John Morant the past couple of seasons. But I think this one is definitely different. To not have John Morant for 25 games, and they also they got rid of Dylan Brooks, and even though Dylan Brooks may be in a pain, maybe he was from part of that team that the team needed, and so it just was what it was. The Trailblazers are 3-10, and the Spurs, even with Victor Wembanyama, still down in the dumps, the last team in the Western Conference at 3-11. So there you have it. A check in on the NBA. We'll check in the next couple weeks, and let's see how they're doing, and seeing if some of these things are going to stay the same. Again, the Timberwolves at the top of the Western Conference. That's kind of shocking. So we'll wait and see. On to college football. Okay, so let's go back and let's check out this past week in the college football world. We go back to even Tuesday, not just Thursday, but Tuesday, where Toledo beat Bowling Green 32-31. Now we up Saturday. Penn State beat Rutgers 27-6. It seems like the Big Ten brought in Rutgers for everybody just to whoop on. It's really what happened. And that's what's happened ever since they've gone to the Big Ten. They just getting whooped on. Mississippi beat Louisiana Monroe 35-3. Tulane beat Florida Atlantic 24-8. Michigan beat Maryland 31-24. Oklahoma beat BYU 31-24. Alabama beat Chattanooga 66-10. Louisville beat Miami of Florida 38-31. Just slipped by the Miami of Florida Hurricanes. Liberty beat UMass 49-25. App State beat the undefeated James Madison 26-23 in overtime, now rendering them defeated. Arizona beat Utah 42-18. Georgia beat Tennessee 38-10. Iowa beat Illinois 15-3. Notre Dame beat Wake Forest 45-7. Ohio State beat Minnesota 37-3. Oklahoma State beat Houston 43-30. Oregon beat Arizona State 49-13. Florida State beat North Alabama 48-13. However, the big news coming out of that game, Florida State starting quarterback Jordan Travis endured a horrific injury, and I would advise nobody to go back and see it. Just horrific, and he is obviously out for the remainder of the college football season, and who knows what his future looks like for NFL or even to come back to college football. It's awful, and it was this thoughts go out to the young man and hope he can at least come back and live a normal life. Fuck football. Just come back and live a normal life. Kansas State beat Kansas 31-27. Missouri beat Florida 33-31. Washington beat Oregon State 22-20. Texas beat Iowa State 26-16. And LSU beat Georgia State 56-14. And because of that, seemingly now Jaden Daniels, the quarterback of LSU, now seems to be in the lead for the Heisman Trophy. So he's I guess he scored all. He was responsible for all 8 touchdowns in the game against Georgia State. So now he looks like he might continue. He might be the end all be all. So, but we have to wait and see. There's still some other games that are going to happen before the Heisman Trophy is given out. So we'll wait and see. LSU, I think, only has one of those games. I don't think they're not going to be a part of the SEC championship game or anything like that. As we look ahead now to Week 13, we've got some rivalry games happening, and we've got some good ones. We've got the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night, as it's normally been for the past several decades. Mississippi State hosting Mississippi. And then we got Friday. There'll be a lot of Friday action coming, and so that's good. College and pro. We've got Iowa at Nebraska. We got TCU at Oklahoma. Toledo at Central Michigan. Texas at San Antonio at Tulane. Missouri at Arkansas. Texas Tech in Texas. And Penn State, Michigan State for the Land Grant Trophy. And the way Michigan State has played, this should just be another blowout for Penn State. And Oregon State. I forget what Oregon State play for, but it's going to be Oregon State, and this is going to be time for Oregon to need to stay on track. And then Saturday, we've got Kentucky at Louisville. We've got the game between Ohio State and Michigan. Obviously, that's the big one. Texas A&M and LSU. We've got the Iron Bowl. Alabama is at Auburn. Liberty's at UTEP. Vanderbilt is at Tennessee. Arizona State. They play for some type of victory bell or something like that too. I think it's kind of weird. And BYU at Oklahoma State. It should be Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, but they don't care anymore, and that's unfortunate. So there you have it. There's some other games happening as well, like Notre Dame and Stanford and other things, but it doesn't seem to be any way those things are going to be talked about. So, like I said, when I do these, I usually do the top 25. Although I think Notre Dame should be part of the top 25, but yeah, it just doesn't have it up here. So, but yeah, I know Notre Dame and Stanford is playing as well. So there you have it. The look back in the look ahead of the college football season. Let's go ahead and now finish off with the National Football League. Some breaking news in the NFL as well. So let's head and talk about the NFL. We go ahead and talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, who are going to beat the Baltimore Ravens on this past Thursday. They were going to meet them, not beat them, excuse me. The Ravens beat the Bengals, but big news coming out of that, Joe Burrow hurt his wrist during that game and will be out for the season, ending possibly the Bengals' chances of making the playoffs for a fourth consecutive year. I think but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. Maybe it's just maybe it's just maybe it's just a third consecutive year. Yeah, I think that might be it. So, but it is just unfortunate. Because they're not going to take Browning, and we'll see what he can do. But it's all seems like it's over for the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens continue to make waves in that division in the AFC all the time. They may be the best team in the AFC. However, as I'm looking right now on Get Up, and they're talking about which team has the biggest challenger to the Chiefs in the AFC. Dan Graziano says the Bills, San Antonio says the Broncos, Dominic Foxworth says the Ravens, and Jeff Saturday says the Miami Dolphins. And I tend to agree with Dan Graziano because I think even though he hasn't played like it, Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the league, let alone the AFC. So you go with the second best quarterback next. If the Chiefs are, if the Chiefs are vulnerable this year, I think they're vulnerable to probably a few teams, but I think the biggest team, I think, would be the Buffalo Bills. Anyway, let's get back to this. We go back now to Sunday. The Steelers and the Broncos, the Browns, and the Browns beat the Steelers 13-10 in a battle of inept offenses. The Browns look to be inept because they played a young rookie, so that you can understand that. And the Steelers seem to be inept because of their offensive coordinator, and they have fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada this morning. Mike Tomlin put out a statement saying that he's thanking him for his job, but he had to do what he had to do, and he had to fire Matt Canada. So I think after Najee Harris maybe said what he said, and maybe it was getting, the natives were getting restless, and he needed to, do something. He went a lot of weeks without, doing it because they were calling for Matt Canada back in the preseason, but it took him all the way to week 11 to actually fire him. So. The Dolphins beat the Raiders 20-13. An epic comeback by the Detroit Lions over my Chicago Bears 31-26. The Jaguars beat the Titans 34-14. Excuse me. A bunch of drops and a bunch of misplays by the Chargers wide receivers cost the game against the Packers 23-20. The Packers beat the Chargers. Afterwards, I guess somebody asked Brandon Staley if he would, maybe think about giving up play calling. He got his ass on his back, and he said that I'm not going to stop calling your plays. You can stop asking that question. So, interesting. The Texans beat the Cardinals 21-16. The Cardinals had the Texans pick from last year's draft, and the Cardinals look like they're going to have a high pick, but they're also going to have some type of medium pick as well. The Cowboys beat the Panthers 33-16. Deron Bland returned his fourth interception for a touchdown this year. It's amazing. That ties the single season record in the NFL for most return touchdowns in the season. Let's see if he's got a lot of games to break it. Let's see if he can make it the fifth. The Giants upset the Commanders by the hands of Tommy DeVito as they won 31-19. The 49ers beat the Buccaneers 27-24. Brock Purdy, perfect passer rating, amazing. He has come back with a healthy Trent Williams and a healthy Deebo Samuels, and they are doing the damn thing. The Jets lost to the Bills 32-6. We're talking about something that's finally happening. Zach Wilson seems to be finally getting benched by Robert Saleh, and this next game, Tim Boyle will be the starter for the Jets. So we'll see how they're going to do. This was their first touchdown in a bunch of drives, and when they said once on First Take yesterday, Deron Bland has half as many touchdowns as the Jets offense, which is that's kind of shameful. The Rams slipped by the Seahawks 17-16. In that game, Geno Smith got hurt, although Pete Carroll says that Geno Smith probably has a great chance of playing this Thursday. Sunday Night Football was the Broncos beating the Vikings in a late game rally by Russell Wilson, the second most of all time. Matthew Stafford is first with 43, so he has some. Here's another game-winning drive added on to Russell. Looks a lot better this year than he did last year. And last night's Monday Night Football epic between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Eagles came back from a 2-touchdown deficit to beat the Chiefs 21-17. But the big thing of the game was the drops by the Kansas City Chiefs receivers, including one by MVS Marcus Valdez-Scantling that just seemed to tear out the hearts of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as we look ahead to this upcoming week, obviously this is Thanksgiving week, so we got the traditional Thanksgiving games. We got the Packers at the Lions, the Commanders at the Cowboys, and we have the 49ers at the Seahawks. That's going to be a good game for 49ers and Seahawks, a battle for first place in the NFC West. We got the first ever Black Friday game. Obviously, they were doing this thinking, with Aaron Rodgers in New York, the Dolphins might be a good game. This might be a good game. Probably won't be now. The Dolphins might, take some liberties with this, but it's the Dolphins and the Jets for the Black Friday game. It's going to be in the afternoon, actually, which I thought I would have thought it would have been at nighttime, but it's going to be in the afternoon. So there you have it. You can do that. It's a Sunday's action. We got the Buccaneers at the Colts. We got the Patriots at the Giants. The Steelers are at the Bengals. We'll see who the offensive coordinator is for the Steelers. Again, we talked about the injury to Joe Burrow. Jake Browning will be the quarterback there. We'll see if a new offensive coordinator can help the Steelers offense get back into play and maybe take down the Bengals, or will the Bengals upset the Steelers. You got the Panthers at the Titans, the Jaguars at the Texans. That's going to be a really good showdown, I think, for two teams at the top of the AFC South, excuse me. NFC South, this is also a good game. The Saints at the Falcons. The Rams are at the Cardinals. The Browns are at the Broncos. Battle of two good defenses playing well. And, again, we talked about the offense with the rookie for the Browns not being, that great. But we'll see what happens in this upcoming game. And Russell Wilson seems to have turned around his offensive woes. The Bills are at the Eagles. This is probably the main game of the week. Can Buffalo go into Philadelphia and beat the Eagles, or the Eagles going to keep it rolling and keep it continue and just continue to just beat amazing teams? We have the Chiefs at the Raiders. Sunday Night Football, the Ravens are at the Chargers. And Monday Night Football, we have my Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. So there you have it. That's what's happening in Week 12 of the National Football League and what happened this past week on Week 11. All right, guys, there you have it. Another week, another podcast done. And if you like what you've heard in this past podcast, please make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRIP, become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you hear on my other podcast, The Word According to Me, what videos I do for my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP, and But video games I play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AJTRIP. By the way, those have to be games that I have. So, yeah, that's what it needs to be. Or, if you want to do it another way, you can also go to the link in the description below from the Spotify for podcasters, and you can click that link and it goes to the support page. And you can support me with 3 tiers, 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99. Or, if you just don't have monetary resources to do so, I understand. And then you can support me the non-monetarily way. Share this podcast, rate this podcast, give us 5 stars, share it across all of your social medias. That helps as well. Any little bit helps, and I appreciate anything that you do. So thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.